And welcome back. In the previous video, we saw that another method of proof is called natural deduction, or we call it natural deduction rule. And we decided or discussed that how all the rules that we're going to come across or we're going to end up with will be simple and self-evident, which was key. So we looked at conjunction and double negation, and then now we want to look at another operator, which is disjunction. So disjunction, or simply put or, right? We say that based on the truth table, if you are given any of the inputs to be true, then the disjunction of that input with anything else becomes true. So for a disjunction to be true, one of them has to be true. So if I were to give you that phi is true, right, I can conclude that phi or here anything is true because I'm guaranteed of the truth value of that. If this is true, right, if this is true, irregardless of what the other one is, the outcome is also going to be true. That is disjunction introduction on position 1. So I'm saying disjunction introduction on an element that was on position 1. Now we look at the same. If you're given this guy and say you want him to be on position 2, right? We are saying if this is true, if this is true and this is true, right, whether or not the first one is true or false, it doesn't matter because the outcome will be true. It's a disjunction. So we can then have anything or something that is true is also true. And we call that disjunction introduction on position number 2. All right. Now, that is simple, right? And it is self-evident. If you have got one, then the one you have or the other remains true. Right. Now let's look at a much more complicated one. Right. We are given a disjunction. Let's investigate where it is true. It is true 3 out of 4 times. So looking at P or Q alone does not make sense. Right? Looking at P or Q alone does not make sense. Why? Because at any point in time, either one, P or Q, can be true. We do not know which one is, or both can be true. So if you are given this to be true, you know nothing about the validity of the sequence. Right? Now, these boxes are called assumption boxes. The solid boxes, they are called assumption boxes. Right. So they say, let's break it down. If we say that phi is true, let's assume that phi is true. If we assume that phi is true and we reach this particular conclusion, right, it doesn't really mean nothing. But if we assume the other party, if we assume the other side, and we still reach the same conclusion, it means that this conclusion is true. Why? Right. So if what do we know? We know P or Q, or in this case, P or Q is true. Right. What are we guaranteed of knowing? Either true, false, false, true, or true, true. So this or this is true. Both of them are leading to the same output. So it means, right, it means there exists a path from P to that, or there exists a path from Q to wherever we are going, to the X, right? So by virtue of P or Q being true, one of them is guaranteed to reach that destination. Therefore, whatever we've reached is also true. It is a viable pathway to take a deduction that we can do and conclude that is true. Why? Because it is guaranteed to reach a truth value. So what we will also see is that this rule has a bias, or usually works when both of them are true. Not so much when one of them is false, but usually works when both of them are true for most of the cases. Right? So we call that rule disjunction elimination. If you have a disjunction and you're told that is true, right? For you to use this, it is not enough for you to say, since I've got phi or that, then phi is true. Who told you that phi is true? It can be that false and true, and then you are saying that this is true, which is not the case. Right? But if this allows me to reach a certain point and this allows me to reach the exact same point, then I know that this point is reachable because I've simulated a path with my given inputs and they've led me there. That is called disjunction elimination. So usually this takes a while for students to get. So please, if you have any questions here, feel free to contact me so that we can go through it personally. All right. So let's, in the next video, look at another natural deduction rule that we can use.